Well guys, the stock Capra dig servo is no longer alive. So that means REEFS 99 is going in. Take a look. The 99 Micro is a small but insanely strong little servo. This little guy is awesome and will make it work in the Capra with the plastic horns you get with it. So it's time to start taking this apart. Now the mods on this right now is it has a Treal belly, has a Treal transmission case as well. Look at that beautiful thing up in there. So it's got those, and it has a 1080 ESC. So other than that, it's pretty much stock except for a Flysky Gt5 radio. I'm also going to swap that out for a Gt5. So anyway, that's beside the point. I'll show you guys the whole setup and all that. So we're going to take this thing apart, and we're just simply going to drop the belly right out by removing these 4 screws right here. And then once they're out, then we'll have a little bit of wire to deal with. With the belly drop, I just unplugged the servo from the little extension right over there, unplugged the motor. This right here had a really short wire. It kind of unplugged itself. Yeah, it kind of pulled apart when I was, you know, taking this thing apart. So anyway, that dude is dead right there. So that's going in. I removed the 2 screws holding it in place with a 1.5mm hex wrench, and then this pulls up and right out. This is the part right here, this little spacer piece. This is what you're going to have to reuse on the Reefs servo. So go ahead and take that loose with your 4-way and a 1.5mm hex wrench. I want to show you guys just how I mount the servo. I actually mount it into the center slot, and the reason is for leverage. I get to go into right here. If you mount in these holes right here, then you'll be out there, and the servo will have less of a mechanical advantage on the dig unit. So here you have the bolt, the nut, the little spacer bushing, and the servo horn. Keep in mind we're going into this hole right here. So this hole has to be opened up to allow the bolt to go through. Now also, there isn't enough room under the horn for this shoulder to be up against the horn, so that shoulder has to go away. And you can do that one of 2 ways. You can take a X-Acto razor blade or something and just simply cut it off, or you can actually, you know, trim the end of it off. Either way, that piece right there, that little edge, that raised area, has to come off for this to work. I just simply pressed it down on the table with this blade right here and just simply sliced it right off. Now it's time to open up the hole in the horn. This is the setup you want right here, and that slides right on the bolt just fine. Now the hole barely fit the bolt, so it's kind of snug in there, which is actually a good thing. So I'm going to just simply tighten that right on up into there and put the nut on there. And at that point, it's ready to go onto the servo into the chassis. And this is what you're going to end up with. Now, if you're going to have a lot of wires in the belly, you'll probably want to trim that down, or like I said, get a shorter bolt. Either way works fine. I'm just simply going to Dremel that right off. There it is, Dremeled and the burrs taken off. I use these old welding pliers right here to hold it because you really don't want your fingers that close to the darn Dremel blade or the grinder cutter. That can do nothing but bring blood. Time to set the EPA, and I highly suggest that you take your time and set your EPAs down to about 10% to start, because you really don't want that servo to come on and before you can set your EPA, it burns up. So you really got to take care, you know, and make sure that you get this right. And then just simply we're going to turn this up, so if I can get this all in here. All right, there we go. See how the servo is moving? Just a little bit. I'm going to sit here and take my time, little bit by little bit, to make sure there's no hum, no noise coming from the servo, but I'm getting full engagement. And I don't want this to be all the way, you know, up against it, stalling the servo. There's no servo saver on this. If you have this out of set, if you have this out of, if you have your endpoints wrong and you burn this servo up, that's on you. you got to take time and set your endpoints up correctly. I highly recommend a different radio that's a lot easier to set up than the radio that comes with it. So that's another recommendation. And personally, I really like the GT5 radio. So I think that's a great radio for this truck. So anyway, I'm gonna do my job now, off camera. I want to show you guys the operation right here. So this is in normal drive. Now this is the dig function right here. Watch what happens. See that? So this is another thing, because since now that I can show you guys this, I've seen a lot of guys, they'll turn on their trucks, it's a 2-speed or a diff lock or something like that, you know, and their servos start just dying because the a switch changed or something, and the servo is sitting there in a stall mode like that. So when you turn one of your vehicles on that has a selectable transmission, make sure you take just a few seconds and make sure it's fully engaged. If you turn your radio on and it does this number right here, well, hey, we got lucky that time, right? But see right there, that thing is under load. So make sure you're not stalling the servo when you turn it on. They've got to go in the teeth correctly. If they're out of the splines, then you're just going to waste a bunch of servos, and then you're going to say, hey, this servo is junk and this and that, you know. But really, set your endpoints. Take just a few seconds every time you turn your truck on and make sure that everything is correct. Now that is pretty much exactly where I want it. I could probably go just a tiny little bit more forward, and I could probably go maybe a tiny little bit more to the back if I really wanted to. But if I do that, then I could be, you know, holding the servo under stall. I want these servo to be cold when I get done driving it. So in case you're wondering what the endpoints on the GT5 are, 14 and 48. Those are the endpoints right there. That's your that's actually your drive right there at 14, and then 48, that's your dig right there. I've taken the time to go ahead and set the endpoints for the steering for the new radio, the GT5. So these endpoints are set. That endpoints are set. All I've got to do is change the BEC on the 1080 to the 7.4 volts, because this is good for high voltage. That's good for high voltage, and so is the receiver for the GT5. So we're going to get more steering power, and although we don't need it, we're going to get a little bit more there. We're going to go ahead and test out that dig now. It is very wet out here. It has been raining quite a bit. So anyway, traction isn't going to be quite what it usually is. However, we can still see what we need to see with this thing. Let's see what it's got. Do a little crawl in here, lock that dig in. Now we're kind of binding on both tires, but in and out perfectly. Not even close to an issue right there. Dig in, dig out. We're gonna dig it soon. See if we can do a dig action. Did not get it that way. Try a little reverse. With this servo in here, the dig is really good. I mean, I don't know how else to say it other than it's just absolutely worth it, you know. Now, if you want to make your dig better than what it, you know, is normally, get your steering to turn tighter. Come up against that, there's the tie rod right there. Try to get around that. Beautiful. Wow, I'm all over that tie rod here, aren't I? Boom. Yeah, traction is not what I'm used to out here either. Nice. I want to try this new section right here just to see how this is going to work out. This is what I call the nasty. Wow. That flex is actually going really good right there. Well, it's about to go over though. Get the back end off the edge. Let the back end come down. Then, no good on that. I will reset it. And here we go again. If I can dig the front end over. Nope. A good dig, at least a dig unit, to make it work really, really good, you gotta complement it with a good sharp steering. Once you get the steering tight, kind of like what I have on Optimus 3. If I can get a little bite here. There you go. See that? I'm getting a good hook using the dig. Now I get to come in with the back, and there we are. Very, very lean. Now we get to try this right here. This can pretty much shut you right on down, I think. At least it could before. So you can get the front into the crack. Another roll. Sweet. So you know, I did not make the nasty easier when I did the concrete. That's a good thing. Now let's go ahead and try this right here. I like it. This is a nice spot right here. I love it. So guys, what do you think? I wanted to try to get the details of installing the Micro 99 servo in the Capra. Hopefully I covered everything. I mean, servo leverage on the actual dig unit itself, the mounting, the horn, the way you gotta adjust a little spacer piece that should go into the transmission. So hopefully I was able to show that with enough detail to make this an easy install for anyone. So also during the run, well, you know, it was wet back there, but that dig, it went in and out on command every time. I could never get that with the stock servo. It just wouldn't do it. I'm not sure if it was the servo itself or the servo saver, but the servo saver isn't always a bad thing. It can really help save a servo from, you know, just stalling out and just being toast. But, you know, if you drive a little bit careful, you have an idea of what you're doing, this is absolutely the best way to go. Guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description for links for the Micro 99 servo, the 444 servo, and everything else on here, like the Hobbywing 1080 ESC, the Flysky Gt5 radio that I just put in it, all that stuff. Make sure you check that description, click those links. They are affiliate links for eBay, Amazon, and AMain. So if you have something in your cart on any of them, just simply click one of the links in one of my videos. Go there, no matter what it pops up, you know, a part or something like that. Go to your cart and check out. It all counts, and every little bit helps. So guys, hopefully you liked the video, and thank you all for watching. If you guys like what you see, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. If you really, really like what you see, consider clicking on that join button down below. With that, you can actually become a channel member. Members get early viewing of many of the videos and, you know, a little bit more personalized. Guys, thank you all for watching.